I smile every time I think of the first night that we kissed. You waited in the doorway till I finally pulled you in. I've never found a wine intoxicating as your lips. I knew right then I never want another pair of them. I've never laughed as freely as I did beneath the trees, hearing you tell stories while I tried to sit and read. I've seen my share of storms, but in your voice I found my peace. So I laugh until my stomach hurts while you lie there next to me. But baby, there's no way that I won't cry when I see you walking there, that all eternity wrapped in one space and time. It's in your eyes, dressed in white, to be my bride. I found love and courage are like two hearts in a dance. Wherever the one goes, the other dares to take a chance. So I took a knee, now I get to take your hand. And with you by my side, I'm stronger than I've ever been. Oh, but baby, there's no way that I won't cry when I see you walking down, that all eternity wrapped in one space and time. It's in your eyes, dressed in white, to be my bride. Oh, be my bride. Oh, for the rest of my life.
Listen to my heart, can you hear it sing? Telling me to give you everything. Seasons may change, winter to spring, but I love you until my end. Time, come what may, come what may. I will love you until my dying day. Suddenly the world seems such a perfect place. Suddenly it moves with such a perfect grace. Suddenly my life doesn't seem such a waste. It all revolves around you, and there's the mountain too high and no river too wide. Sing out this song and I'll be there by your side. Storm clouds may gather and stars they may collide, but I love you until the end. Oh, time, come what may, come what may. my darling day. Oh, come, what will?
We know he'll be looking down on the three of you right now, feeling very proud, with the biggest grin on his face, knowing that you represent him in this incredibly special moment. Terri also wears a bracelet today which contains some of both her mum and dad's ashes, so they were also with her on her arm as she walked down the aisle. Now, Georgia and Cam, your mum proudly watched you both take your first steps as babies, and together you have made many, many more steps by her side as you have journeyed together around the globe. I know she was bursting with pride today as you took these most special steps together down the aisle with her on her wedding day. Some describe this moment as the giving away, but this is not about giving anything away. This is more about gaining. Not just a stepdad in Simon, but a whole new extended family. So Cameron and Georgia, I will ask you now, do you give your blessing to support your mum today and accept Simon, Ali, Sam, Ben and Sid into your lives as part of your extended and blended family?
We will.
Thank you. If you want to give your mum a kiss and take your seats.
Let's come next again.
Thank you.
Got a kiss in her.
Not
No?
yet.
Oh.
Not yet. While to go. Yet.
Amazing.
Need to fluff, sorry.
Sorry.
Now maybe we are supposed to meet the wrong people before we meet the right one. So when they finally arrive, we are truly grateful for the gift we have been given. Maybe it's true that we don't know what we have lost until we lose it, but it is also true that we don't know what we're missing until it arrives. Maybe the happiest of people don't have the best of everything, but make the best of everything that comes their way. Maybe the best kind of love is the kind where you sit on the sofa together, not saying a word, and walk away feeling like it was the best conversation you ever had. Maybe just once in a lifetime you find someone who not only touches your heart, but also your soul. Someone who loves you for being just who you are and not what they want you to be. Maybe the art of true love is not about finding the perfect person, but about seeing an imperfect person perfectly. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here today in this wonderful celebration of love and commitment between Simon and Terri. My name is Samantha, and I'm both honoured and slightly overwhelmed to be here with you today. Having trained as a celebrant with Terri, it's a privilege and an honour beyond words to be stood here officiating as she makes this lifelong commitment to Simon this afternoon. As well as helping me to craft a new career, Terri and I formed a friendship that has grown to be invaluable. Now, they say the best love stories are the ones that you write yourselves, so I would like to be the first to wish Terri and Simon both well as they set about writing the rest of their novel together, starting with this brand new chapter in their lives. Simon and Terri have asked me to take this opportunity to welcome you all here, sharing in this most special and joyful moment with them, their wedding day. Today is not about a piece of paper which creates a marriage. It is about two people, head over heels in love, who are creating their own marriage. It's about the spiritual, human and physical commitment that Simon and Terri wish to pledge to one another. It's about what this lifelong commitment means to them, and more importantly, what they mean to one another. There are many facets that make up a wedding. The food, the flowers, the decorations, and so much more. But for Terri and Simon, it is this moment, the ceremony, which is most important, the most important part of the day to them. The moment where they transition from being two single people to crossing the threshold into wedded bliss, so they can say to the world, "This is my husband and this is my wife." And they make this pledge of commitment to one another in front of you, their much loved family and friends. Of course, with sadness, there are other people who would have loved to be here with us, but sadly are no longer with us. However, we are sure they'll be looking down on Simon and Terri with pride and delight. Simon's mum, Mary, Terry's parents, Bill and Gloria, and her brother Mark. Also 2 of Terry's aunties who were invited to be here today, Tricia and Anne, but both very sadly have passed away unexpectedly in the last 7 weeks. We remember all of them in our hearts today. It was very early on in Terri and Simon's relationship that her father Bill passed away. In fact, what was meant to be Terri and Simon's first night together turned out to be Bill's last night on this earth. So instead of having the romantic night they had planned, Terri ended up sleeping on the floor of the care home next to her dad's bed. Terri felt a little guilty for abandoning Simon when he had just taken the train all the way down from Bracknell to Somerset to be with her. But despite it being so early in their relationship, Simon immediately said to her that night, "Go and be with your dad. We have the rest of our lives to be together." And how true has that now turned out to be? A wedding day, of course, is often a time when the relationship between a father and daughter is truly emphasised. And I know it's a huge void for Terri today to not have her dad here to walk her down the aisle or to give a father of the bride speech. But those of you who knew Bill will know that there was rarely an occasion when he didn't have his 2 penneth to say. So we know that today he would have most definitely had a few words to say to Simon about taking care of his youngest daughter. So we're going to invite Jason back to sing for us, a song which very much echoes the sentiments that Bill would want to portray to Simon in this very moment.
Look at the 2 of you dancing that way, lost in this moment in each other's face. So much love, you're alone in this place, like there's nobody else in this world. I was enough for her not long ago. She was her number 1. Told me so, and she still means the world to me, just so you know. So be careful when you hold my girl. Time changes everything, life must go on. I'm not gonna stand in your way. I loved her first, I held her first, and a place in my heart will always be hers. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the love of the Father runs deep. And I prayed that she'd find her someday, but it's still hard to give her away. I loved her first. How can that beautiful woman with you be the same freckle face kid that I knew, the one that I read all those fairy tales to? I tucked up in bed all those nights, and I knew the first time I saw you with her, it was only a matter of time. I loved her first, I held her first, and a place in my heart will always be hers. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the father runs deep, and I prayed that she'd find you someday. But it's still hard to give her away. I loved her for her. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the love of a father runs deep. Someday I might know what I'm going through, when a miracle smiles up at you. I love you first.
Trying to do to us all today. Thank you, Jason. Well, I'm sure you all need a box of Kleenex to pass around now, but today is about joy and celebration. Though before we get Simon and Terri hitched, let's check just exactly how compatible these two really are with a quick fire round of Mr. and Mrs.
What did he say? Huh? Oh. She's going to faint. He's going to sit down. Ben.
Right, so a quick fire round of Mr. and Mrs. Who's the most romantic?
What if we got to put it up?
Yeah. You're quite romantic.
You're both romantic. I'll give you that.
Who's the better cook?
No way, no way. No way.
Who snores the most? Who's the better driver?
Oh.
Define better.
Who thinks they are the funniest?
Thinks they are.
Yes.
She thinks she is.
Okay, so who actually is the funniest?
Gosh.
Who takes up the most room in the bed?
Yeah, probably. It's true.
Who's the best dancer?
Definitely. Hooray.
Me.
Who does the most housework?
Oh, that's harsh. Who does most
Okay.
gardening? No?
Who always has to have the last word?
Oh,
Who is the one who has to remove spiders from the house?
one job.
Here's
What's my
one.
problem in my room side?
Who's the cleverest?
Oh.
Who's the most laid back? Who frequently makes the first move in bed?
Oh, all the time.
Quite tongue-in-cheek one. The final one. Who pulls the weirdest orgasm face? I love this game. You learn so much about people.
And yourself.
Well, I'm not sure on the compatibility scores, but as with every Mr. and Mrs. couple, they all receive their very own little Mr. and Mrs. trophy. So a round of applause for our contestants.
Do we win? Thank you.
Pop that just down to the side for you. Right, I think the children are starting to blush a little bit now.
So the adults.
So today, Simon and Terri are looking to the future with great excitement and delight, knowing that whatever the future holds, it's a path that they will walk together, side by side and hand in hand. They know that they can get through absolutely anything together because they already have been on the most incredible journey together over the past 2.5 years. So let's go back to the beginning. April 2020 wasn't a great time for any of us as COVID swept across the world, plunging us into lockdown and loneliness, crushing dreams and plans, crippling businesses and isolating us from our loved ones. But here amidst the chaos and darkness, as we all rallied on the cyber world more than ever before, a little spark was ignited with the help of online dating app Tinder. When on the 4th of April, both Terri and Simon saw those 3 magic words flash across their phones. It's a match. Terri had used Tinder and other online dating apps in the past and said she could write a book on her failed dating chronicles. But for the previous 21 months, she'd been travelling the world with Cameron, living the dream life, and says she had finally found her true self and had never been happier before being free, single and independent. The only reason she had turned to Tinder again was because just 4 days earlier she and Cam had been forced home from their dream adventure, having just spent a month stranded in the South Pacific and having met so many fascinating and interesting people on their travels. She said she knew she would be fast climbing the walls if she didn't at least find someone online to converse with and have some form of adult conversation. She said that actually meeting someone and having a relationship was the furthest thing on her mind, and she thought lockdown would blow over in 4 weeks, and she and Cameron already had further travels booked to Alaska, Japan and Vietnam that summer. Life for Simon was quite different. He'd been single just under a year and was spending most of his time either working or volunteering at the football club. When lockdown hit, he found himself a full-time stay-at-home solo parent with Ali, Sam and Ben, and as a single dad began to navigate homeschooling, home, everything, as well as trying to convert and run his business over Zoom. Simon says the only reason he ventured onto Tinder was purely out of curiosity to discover if at the age of 49 anyone would still find him remotely attractive. Lucky for him, Terri did.
One person.
Little did he expect, though, that the very first person he was to talk to would now become his future wife.
Oh.
He says now,
I did.
though, that he thought he should strike whilst the iron was hot, as the odds of 2 people swiping right on him might have been a little too much to ask for. Terri said she immediately fell for Simon's kind eyes and the fact that he'd said he was an ex-rugby player. She was really hopeful
Very ex.
that he'd have some nice thighs too. Simon said he was immediately taken by Terri's striking red hair and the fact that several of her photos were of her in exotic destinations. He could tell she was adventurous and shared a passion for travel. That first night they chatted via Tinder. Their conversation went right on until 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was pretty much the same the following night too. They immediately knew they had a lot in common. Strangely, they both said that on an older style of computer dating they would have never have matched, as with Simon's love of sport and Terri's love of classical music and musicals, it wouldn't have been an immediate attraction for either of them. And yet they quickly discovered that beneath those hobbies and interests, they had a lot more in common. Their businesses were both centred around training, and they were both quickly having to convert their training from face-to-face to Zoom-based courses. They both had a passion for travel, and both particularly loved New England. They were both also very family-orientated, especially when it came to their children. Oh, and they both had a love of boats and were keen to explore the Norfolk Broads.
Yeah.
However, both of them said very early on that they didn't want to get married again. But how things so very quickly change when they both discovered what true love could actually really feel like. Simon and Terri text constantly for the first 5 days, building a very strong rapport and putting down rock solid foundations They said they could talk very openly and honestly because with lockdown in place, they knew there was no pressure to actually meet. After just 5 days, they then decided to be brave and Zoom one another for the first time. But with 5 children locked down between them, it was difficult to find some space for privacy. So Terri took up space in her motorhome on the front drive, while Simon found an excuse to get out of the house alone to walk the dog. That Zoom chat lasted over 2 hours, with Simon stopping along the way to pick Terri a bunch of bluebells, which he gave her remotely.
That's a little girl in there.
So big.
And he promised one day in the not too distant future they would walk together hand in hand through a bluebell wood. The very next day, Simon had no hesitation in telling Terri that despite the fact that they hadn't actually met face to face, he already knew he had fallen in love with her. And Terri knew that she was feeling exactly the same. So much for not rushing into anything, eh? Zoom calls became a daily event after that, but alas, lockdown went on, meaning with more than 70 miles separating them, it was just impossible to meet face to face. But then fate stepped in and lent a helping hand. Despite the fact that for the previous 18 years, pretty much all of Terri's funeral work had been in Sussex, suddenly a family who had attended one of her services 5 years earlier requested that she conduct their mum's funeral up in Reading. Terri knew that she couldn't come up to Berkshire to meet with this family and not take the opportunity to see Simon face to face when he was virtually on the doorstep. But where would they meet? Coffee shops, restaurants, etc. were all still closed. So Simon came up with the very romantic proposal of a picnic on the football pitch at Ascot United, where he wooed Terri with pork pies and Prosecco. What a smoothie. Simon has also told Terri he was keen to show her his new wheels. What he failed to tell her was that he'd recently lost his licence and rocked up to their first date on an electric scooter.
Yeah, that worked.
This was April the 24th. By this time, both of them were feeling more than a little nervous, wondering, with all the pressure of COVID and lockdown, if their minds had built the other up to be something that maybe they weren't. But as soon as Terri stepped out of the car, all plans for a socially distanced picnic dissolved, as Simon swept her up in her arms, kissed her, and both of them immediately knew this was the real deal. When Terri came back to Reading to actually conduct the funeral on the 1st of May, she and Simon once again took the opportunity, like naughty little school children, to have a second date in Bracknell. But sadly it was on the way home that Terri got the call from Somerset to say that her dad was now on end-of-life care. So she immediately turned the car around and she went down to Somerset. Bill being Bill, fought on for another 15 days, with both Terri and Marie pretty much keeping a heart-wrenching round-the-clock vigil, which due to care home restrictions at that time meant all they could do was watch Bill fade away through a window, until his final night when the staff finally let them in to be by his bedside. Terri said she would never have got through that period without Simon's love and support. They were in a brand new relationship, with Bill's death coming just 3 weeks after their first meeting, but she quickly felt that as pages were ripped out of the book of life, she had been handed a new script to help her to journey on through the next chapters. For the next few months, Terri and Simon's relationship was pretty much focused in Somerset, and just 5 weeks later they purchased a little house down in Langport, which they initially planned to have as a second home, so they could spend more time with Terri's mum Gloria at the time she needed it most. However, they soon found they loved the area so much, they started to talk about moving down there full time. For the next few months, with only a handful of public places opening up, regular trips to Dunelm became the highlight of their love life, as they set about decorating and furnishing their new Somerset house, and very quickly they turned that house into a home. Sadly, tragedy struck once again though, as Gloria died unexpectedly following a stroke the week before Christmas and just 7 months after Bill. Once again, Simon became Terri's rock, and having now suffered 2 major bereavements in less than 8 months into their relationship, this just brought them even closer together than ever. With Gloria no longer with them though, they quickly realised that there was no other reason to keep them in Somerset. So within a few short weeks they emptied the house they had only just furnished and rented it out. They also made the U-turn very quickly to set up home in Berkshire, where Simon was already living. So Terri also packed up her home in Worthing, said goodbye to the life and friends she had made there over the past 50 years, and in April 2021 they moved into their beautiful family home in Wokingham, a town and a house which both of them absolutely love. It was just 5 days after they moved though that Terri was diagnosed with melanoma skin cancer, and another roller coaster followed both physically and emotionally, with 4 operations alongside some other grueling nuclear treatment and biopsies. But she stands here today, a few scars later, but thankfully cancer free. Despite having been through some very hard and tough times together, Terri and Simon have also shared many, many happy moments together. They finally took that walk hand in hand in the Bluebell Wood together, not long after moving to Wokingham. They've had 2 boating holidays on the Norfolk Broads, the first one being particularly special for them, as although it was a little over 2 months after they met, it was the first time they started to seriously plan a long-term future together and talk about the possibility of marriage. They've also spent a magical weekend in Paris, something else they dreamed about together when they spoke on Tinder, as well as holidays to Cornwall, Dubai, and most recently the United States of America and the Bahamas. In between the holidays, they love their quiet, everyday life together, something which they describe as blissfully boring. Simon says that since meeting Terri, he finally knows what it is, what it's truly like to love and be loved fully. He has a much broader understanding of different people's perspectives in life, and is now freely able to express his feelings, emotions, and wishes. Now, what he looks forward to more than anything else is coming home to Terri. Coming home to her every night, knowing that home is his happy place where he can be himself, be loved, and know he only needs to be told once by Terri that a job needs doing and not reminded every 6 months.
Indeed.
Terri says that she loves how Simon accepts her totally as she is, and yet he inspires her to want to become a better version of herself. She says that having been on her own for so many years and having totally given up on finding the one, this has probably made her a little bit selfish, but she is learning to remember to now actually ask Simon's opinion about different things and to discuss them with him before steaming ahead, usually at 500 miles an hour, especially if that involves booking travel, putting up Christmas decorations, or adopting animals and Ukrainians. She added that she also knows she is incredibly impulsive, while Simon is a procrastinator.
Oh, so true.
But this just means that they balance one another incredibly, a bit like yin and yang, or if Simon procrastinates for too long, she'll just go ahead and do exactly what she wants to do anyway.
Exactly.
Simon said what he loves about Terri is that she's beautiful, kind, thoughtful, always thinking of others before herself, and how she gives all to her business, the home and the family, and manages to balance them all perfectly. Terri said what she loves most about Simon, other than his rugby thighs, is how calming and supportive he is in any situation. How she's never heard him ever say a bad word about anyone, and what a wonderful dad and stepdad he is. She's exceptionally proud of how hard he works and how much effort he puts into both the paid and voluntary work he does, always willing to go that extra mile for anyone. As they look to the future now, they pretty much want it to follow along the same path that they have already laid. Blissfully boring, with a sprinkle of travel and adventure. They love every second of being together and say that no matter how difficult or tiring a day has been, when they just get into bed and hold one another, they know that everything is right in the world. They also want to continue being the very best parents and now step-parents that they can be, and today they publicly want to acknowledge how awesome Georgia, Ali, Sam, Ben and Cameron have all been, because it's not easy when someone new comes into your parents' lives and their personal decisions affect all of you too. But they're very, very proud of you all, and they want to thank you for how accepting you have all been. And just to reaffirm, as they create a new family unit today, that they love all of you very, very much. And thank you for the love, the support, the maturity you have shown as life has changed for you too over these past couple of years. So Terri and Simon, I think it's about time that we got you two hitched. So this is the moment that you have long waited for and dreamed about. The moment you stand in your truth and make a lifelong commitment to one another. So I'm now going to invite you for the next few minutes to speak in truth from your hearts, your love and commitment for one another, and your love and commitment for your marriage. Simon, will you take Terri to be your wife? Will you always be open and honest with her, sharing your life with her as an equal partner? Will you support her to the best of your ability in every facet of your lives together, as well as respecting her independence? And although she sometimes drives you crazy by oversharing on Facebook, will you share the rest of your life with her as a caring and loving husband?
I will.
Terri, will you take Simon to be your husband? Will you always be open and honest with him, sharing your life with him as an equal partner? Will you support him in every facet of your life together, while still giving him the space to flourish as an individual? And although he drives you crazy when he doesn't fold the bathroom towels and scares the life out of you with his lack of concentration when driving, will you share the rest of your life with him as a caring and loving wife?
I will.
And now the moment has come for you to share your own vows to one another in your own words. So if you would like to face one another.
Sorry.
Simon, we will begin with you first.
Okay. Terri, when you swiped into my life, I didn't expect to be here a couple of years later, certainly. Our priority at the time was just trying to navigate the new phenomenon of COVID, but within a couple of days of chatting, it was clear we had an amazing connection. Our virtual chats the first few weeks were a great way to get to know each other without that awkward pressure of dates in coffee shops. And it meant by the time we actually met, I really felt that I'd known you for years already. Meeting you properly for the first time just affirmed my already strong feelings for you. You are fabulous, and I'm so proud to be standing here next to you and about to become your husband. F is for funny. You make me laugh on a daily basis. When we're apart, I long to be back in your arms, to hear your voice and for you to make me smile again. The A is for adventurers. I love your sense of adventure. I never want you to stop living your dreams, and I know how much travel and seeing the world means to you. I just hope I get invited along sometimes, and I know we will share so many adventures together during the rest of our lives. B is for beautiful, inside and out. I'm so proud when we go out together, and even though I know I'm punching, I love us. U is for unbelievably successful in everything you do. I love how you throw yourself into your various careers and projects. Hope I can always provide you with the support you need to carry on being a success. The L is for loving. Loving of life, of others, and especially of me for some reason. I'm the luckiest man in the world to spend the rest of my life being loved by you. O is for open-hearted, the way you've accepted my children into our family and always have time to be a great friend to so many people. I hope I can show the same open heart to welcome Georgia and Cam into our family. U is for understanding me and putting up with me, even if it means having to watch the odd football match. I know you made it clear that cricket on the radio was a step too far though. And S is for sensitive. You're so sensitive to others and have taught me how to be more tolerant and open-minded to the unconventional. I look forward with so much excitement to our future together, full of living our dreams together, some blissfully boring, others creating a lifetime of memories. But whatever we do, it will be as husband and wife, and nothing makes me happier than be able to say that. I will end with another F. It's forever, because that's us now, sweetheart, and come what may, I will love you to my dying day. No.
Terri, if you would like to read your vows to Simon.
I know, took some water. Got some, yeah.
Sorry, quick water drink. Oh, thank you. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. My darling Simon, this kind of love and certainty comes but once in a lifetime. I stand in front of you now as the happiest woman in the world, and in the knowledge that out of more than 7 billion people on this planet, you are the one person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I have never wanted anything more than I have wanted to become your wife today. You are a bright beaming light at the end of a very long dark tunnel. And if I knew you were standing there, then I'd crawl through that tunnel on my hands and knees 100 times again just to see you waiting at the end of it. I wanted to list today all of the reasons I love you, but we would have been here for the next 3 weeks. Plus, I don't want to overinflate your ego, so here's just a few. I love the fact that you bring home an endless supply of free biscuit samples, although you could do with upping your game a bit with the Maltesers. I love the fact that you take me on your business trips to Dubai, even if it means you get to fly business class and then book me and the boys on a different aircraft in the back of economy. And I love the fact that you are now so in touch with your feelings that you even cried at the cinema watching Top Gun last week. Oh, I wasn't supposed to mention that. But in all seriousness, from the moment those magic words, "It's a match," flashed up on my phone and we chatted for the first time, I knew that there was something very special about you, even though your chat-up lines could have done with a bit of work. Then from the moment we met and you held me in your arms and kissed me, I had absolutely no doubt that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. From the very beginning, you have understood me better than any other person that I've ever met. You recognise both my strength and my fragility. You respect my gypsy heart and my need to be a strong, independent woman. And you have thankfully never tried to clip my wings. Yet at the same time, you know how much I cherish and adore every second we spend together and the formidable strength that we have as a couple, as a team, and now as husband and wife. When Dad died, you were there for me. When Mum was dying, you were there for her. Holding her hand in her final hours and making her one last promise that you would look after her little girl. And you've done exactly that. You've been there for me, and I couldn't have got through all of this without your love, strength, and the vision of our future together. But through all the difficult and sadder times, there have been so many more moments of happiness and joy. I've loved all the adventures we've already shared, and for the rest of my life, I want to go on living life to its fullest, loving and laughing with you every single day. I know I can get through literally anything as long as I have you by my side, holding my hand, stroking my hair, holding me close and loving me. I love you more than I ever thought it was possible to love. and I promise to do everything I can to make you feel happy, loved, valued and appreciated every single day. I will support you in every aspect of your life, be there for you whenever you need me, but also give you space whenever you need it as well. And you know you can guarantee that when you're listening to cricket on the radio, I will be nowhere to be found. I will strive not only to do my very best for you and for Georgia and Cam, but to be here for Ali, Sam, Ben and Sid in whatever way they may ever need or want. I promise to continue to create a home for all 5 of our beautiful children, which is secure, happy and always filled with love, laughter and an ever-increasing supply of Christmas decorations. I promise to be here for you forever. My heart will be your shelter. My arms will be your home. I have already given you my hands to hold. Today, I give you my life to keep. And come what may, I will love you until my dying day.
Oh, bless you. Well done. You got more claps.
So now I'm going to ask you both to seal these vows with the giving and receiving of your wedding rings. Your rings are made from precious metals and yet are made priceless by your wearing of them. So Sam, please can I have the wedding rings? Ben, do you have the wedding rings? Okay. Well, someone here must have wedding rings. So can I ask you all to just stand up and can you all just look under your seats just to see if any of you happen to have the wedding rings sellotaped to the bottom of your chair?
Oh, Cam's got one.
Yay!
That was a good job you went and stood over there.
Yeah, or else no one would have got
Joe's got one.
straight to this.
Which one's which?
To the best man.
Give it
Give it
to
to Sam.
Give it to Sam.
The rubbish.
Now you could bring the rings forward. Now is the time for Terry and Simon to finally exchange their wedding rings.
Who does which? Shall I do yours first?
Both rings are engraved with the words, "Come what may," and the words you've already heard both sung and spoken today, which is symbolic of Terry and Simon's early dream of walking hand in hand in Paris through the Moulin Rouge, their first overseas holiday together, and the first musical that they subsequently saw together in London. From this day forward, there'll be a reminder of the lifelong commitment they have made here together this afternoon. Simon, we begin with you. Placing the ring on Terry's wedding finger, please repeat after me. Terry, I give you this ring
Terry, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my lifelong commitment to you.
as a symbol of my lifelong commitment to you.
I ask you to wear it always,
I ask you to wear it always,
to remind you of the gentle,
to remind you of the gentle,
strong and eternal love that I have for you,
strong and eternal love that I have for you.
and with the greatest pride that you are now my wife,
And with the greatest pride that you are now my wife,
for today and forevermore.
for today and forevermore.
Please slide the ring into Terry's finger.
Did that? Sorry.
Terry, we move now to you. If you could slide the ring up to the knuckle. Simon, I give you this ring
Simon, I give you this ring
as a symbol that for the rest of your life,
as a symbol that for the rest of your life I will be wrapped around your little finger. It's a bit like a mini ball and chain.
It is.
I ask you to wear it always,
I ask you to wear it always,
to remind you of eternal,
to remind you of the eternal,
unconditional and unbreakable love
unconditional and unbreakable love
that I have for you.
that I have for you.
And with the greatest pride
And with the greatest pride
that you are now my husband,
that you are now my husband
for today
for today
and forever.
and forever.
Simon and Terry, you have today publicly made a commitment to live together for the rest of your lives as husband and wife. caring for one another come what may, and sharing the future no matter what it has in store for you both. We are all blessed to have shared in this most perfect moment with you, and to have witnessed you share your vows and exchange wedding rings. All that is left for me to say is Mrs. Negus, you can now update your Facebook status. And Mr. Negus, you may now kiss your bride.
Hey.
One.
I love you so much.
So just a few words to you both. Now you will feel no rain, for each of you will be shelter to the other. Now you will feel no cold, for each of you will be the warmth to the other. Now there is no more loneliness for you, for each of you will be companion to the other. Now you are two bodies, but there is only one life before you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please be upstanding, have your confetti at the ready, and make some noise for the new Mr. and Mrs. Negus.
We're going to walk out.
Congratulations,
Go talk.
celebrations, when I tell everyone that you're with me.
Get them!
Congratulations.
Every time our eyes meet, this feeling inside me is almost more than I can take. Baby, when you touch me, I can feel how much you love me, and it just blows me away. I've never been this close to anyone or anything. I can hear your thoughts, I can see your dreams. I don't know how you do what you do. I'm so in love with you. It just keeps getting better. I wanna spend the rest of my life with you by my side, forever and ever. Every little thing that you do, baby, I'm amazed by you. The smell of your skin, the taste of your kiss, the way you whisper in the dark, your hair all around me, baby, you surround me, you touch every place in my heart. Oh, it feels like the first time, every time. I wanna spend the whole night in your eyes. I don't know how you do what you do. I'm so in love with you. It just keeps getting better. I wanna spend the rest of my life with you by my side, forever and ever. Every little thing that you do, baby, I'm amazed by you. Every little thing that you do.
There we go, look at that.
It just keeps getting
They're all right.
as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea.